Good evening, Belize, and welcome to XTV's news broadcast for Thursday, March 20, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, Josemai stripped of responsibility for sugar industry. Commissioner of Police poised to take up CEO post in Transport Ministry. PM names government senators and Belizean delegation to attend Aurelio's funeral. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
Mea. Lahket Mea Hill. Belize il Ichianilong.
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. As it relates to ministerial portfolio assignments in the Briceño second cabinet, it has since emerged that though Minister Josemai retains agriculture, food security, and enterprise, he has been stripped of his responsibility for the sugar industry, which has now been assigned to Dr. Osman Martinez for day-to-day management. However, it will be the Prime Minister himself who will be substantively responsible for the industry. The decision follows an emergency meeting that PM John Briceño held with principals of ASR in Miami last month. He noted on a morning show Tuesday that they expressed serious concerns about the handling of matters in the sugar industry. However, it can be said that the writing was on the wall from the moment of the negotiations for a new commercial agreement between BSI and the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association in December of 2023, when cane farmers protested and blocked roads, delaying and interrupting the cane season. The Prime Minister had to step in, and contrary to Mai, a cane farmer himself who seemed aligned with the farmers, the Prime Minister indicated that the interests of both sides had to be considered and that the government has to be impartial. The developments could signal turbulent moments ahead within this year when the 2-year interim commercial agreement expires and another needs to be negotiated. On the one hand, you have the multinational corporation which threatened to reconsider its investments in Belize at the height of the tension in 2023, and on the other, there is the largest cane farmers association which is determined and unafraid to employ strong action to defend their interests. Commissioner of Police Chester Williams is poised to take up the post of Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of Transport, now held by Dr. Louis Zabane. Williams today informed that he is set to notify the Cabinet Secretary of his decision by the end of the day. We note that no CEO was named for that portfolio when the Prime Minister disclosed the list of CEOs on Wednesday. However, today, Williams confirmed that the post has indeed been offered to him. He indicated that having served over 6 years as Commissioner of Police, there's nothing more that he can achieve in policing. We are told that details of his compensation package are being finalized for the transition to be complete. Other reports are that Dr. Richard Rosado will be leaned on by the Briceño administration to become the next Commissioner of Police. Prime Minister John Briceño has announced his senatorial appointments. There will be some new and young faces in the upper chamber of Parliament. Eamon Courtney will remain the leader of government business in the Senate, while Christopher Koyi will also return as senator. The other senators include the Secretary General of the PUP, Linsford Castillo, teacher Roselle Arana, young attorney Hector Guerra from Marine Parade Chambers, and Brittany Galvez. Galvez is the niece of Yolanda Chacron. She currently works as a program coordinator in the Office of the Special Envoy for Women and Children. They will be sworn in at the inaugural sitting of the Senate at a later date. The 3 opposition senators have not yet been named. English experts from the company that produced the Jetstream 32 aircraft that crashed off the island of Roatan in Honduras on March 17, killing a dozen people, were set to arrive in the country today. Honduran immigration authorities expedited their documentation for their earliest arrival. The Honduran Civil Aviation Authority informed that the occurrence of an accident triggers the automatic notification of the company in England. The aircraft was owned by Lanza Airlines from Honduras and was on a 65-kilometer trip from Roatan to Honduras when, according to preliminary reports, one of the 2 engines malfunctioned, causing the aircraft to plunge into the sea not long after departure. Among the deceased was global Garifuna musical icon Aurelio Martinez, while his French manager Helene Odile Guivarch survived the crash. Reports from Honduran media are that people were trapped inside the aircraft at a depth of 165 feet. Fishermen who were nearby were the first to arrive on scene to assist. Honduran media have reported receiving reports from a friend of the now deceased pilot that the aircrafts for the Honduran airline were not well maintained. It is now being further reported that he was concerned about the integrity of the aircraft after a flight earlier in the day. The Minister of Science and Technology and Scientific Innovation of Honduras, Luther Castillo, has said a thorough investigation needs to be conducted to ensure that there is justice for the 17 victims in the plane crash, only 5 of whom survived. Aurelio Martinez will be laid to rest in La Ceiba, Honduras at a ceremony at 10 a.m. Friday. His body was received by the family the day after the crash, and arrangements began immediately. On Tuesday night, a vigil had started. The president of the Honduran Congress is expected to attend. Honduras has been receiving messages of condolences from around the world. 31 Belizeans, including Aurelio's son Nuwani and several other artists, embarked on a trip this morning to La Ceiba, Honduras. The excursion departed from Independence down south. According to Audrey Matura, who is attending Martinez's funeral, the trip was sponsored by the National Institute of Culture and History. The delegation also includes producer Ivan Duran, who worked extensively with Martinez for decades. While on their way, Nuwani serenaded the delegation. This morning, Kim Vasquez, director of the Institute of the Creative Arts, shared that Niche has offered the Bliss Institute for the Performing Arts to serve as a venue for a tribute being organized by Belizean artists in Aurelio's honor. The offer has not yet been taken up. The event was initially set for Saturday, however, it has now been postponed until next week. After the break, first fire of the dry season raises over 2 acres. Stay with us.
Freetown, donde estás mejor vivo que muerto. Farmacia Freetown, teléfono 22 32 87 6.
There was some commotion Wednesday in downtown Belize City at the City Hall as authorities were called in to enforce a policy of the Belize City Council regarding promotional signs displayed by small businesses who conduct business out of the facility. The owners of OMG Cafe went live on Facebook as police and traffic wardens moved to remove a colorful canvas or vinyl-type banner displayed on the railing at the front of the building. Their claim is that ever since Old River Bar and Grill moved in as a tenant at City Hall, they are being harassed by the City Council. They added that though the council has said it intends to put up different signage, they have not moved to finalize those plans, and the banner, which is a display of their products, brings in business for them.
Why you need to remove it?
You don't have what scissors,
Please,
what
scissors?
Please just lose
What
it, Mr.
scissors?
Pepperberg.
Oh no,
Well,
what get charged? This is my personal.
Lose it.
Oh no, how I get money if I put this up. We pay, we rent, everything we pay. So that's zero on the one, that's zero on the one get.
They brought the police department to enforce as well. So I want to show you guys something. Why they're doing this is that we have our young man behind here that opened his business. And apparently he can put all the signs that he wants. If you look, he has it up. But they're asking us to remove our banners because his business needs to survive. And I understand it. These are hard times, but they're using all of their resources to basically oppress us so that we can't operate our business. We're not supposed to operate our business, but they bring police. We wrote them a letter asking them why. There's no response from them, but they are now using the police force, taxpayers' dollars, to basically oppress a small business.
The City Council subsequently issued a statement explaining that in December 2024, vendors were informed that no banners would be allowed on the front of the building, but they could keep them on the interior walls. According to the council, the vendors were encouraged to install metal signage on the building instead, which some have already done. In the case of OMG Cafe, the council says there was no compliance despite a follow-up meeting in January. The council further explains that their decision aligns with their ongoing efforts to enhance the aesthetic and upkeep of City Hall. It emphasized that it is not asking any business to close. When we visited the area today, the banner was still up. A wildfire that broke out this morning near the Savannah Field Station located near the Belize Zoo in the Sharon Matola Wildlife Sanctuary along the George Price Highway has left damages of between 2 to 3 acres of forest cover. Fortunately, it was extinguished. The station in La Democracia is a research facility managed in partnership with Wildlife Conservation Society, WCS. An assessment is being done in hopes of determining if the fire was man-made or natural due to the heat levels. Yahaira Urbina, site manager for the Maya Forest Corridor for WCS, shared that the fire season is delayed this year as we would normally start getting fires in February. Nonetheless, she emphasized that we need to be vigilant.
We're hoping that it is not as active as last year, but still we do promote for everyone to be vigilant in case a fire starts, for us to be prepared for it, and also just be mindful of fire. If you don't need to light a fire, don't light it, or if you're going to light a fire, use your precautions and use your measures to reduce the risk of fires just being leaving it unattended and just spreading and exposing people to the risk of fires.
What are some tips you would give persons if they encounter a fire in their communities?
So definitely what we're promoting is for them to report. Especially if they don't have the proper training, reporting. And reporting is important, is what type of information you're giving. For us, the more information you give the party that is going to attend is better, because for fire, we need to know if it is smoke, what direction the smoke is doing. If you're seeing flames, how high is the flame? What type of habitat or what is burning? If it is grass, if it is savanna, if it is, a tree, all of that information, if they're reporting all of that information, that will prepare the first responders. It will actually make a difference if they're going to take out the bombera or just a water bag, because then that will give us an idea of how to mobilize. Definitely, I think part is prevention. And for communities, definitely having their lines, like having those breaks to really separate from, especially those that live nearby savannas, is, separating that and making sure you have your lines. And if you're burning garbage, do it at a proper manner, or disposing of your garbage. Do not use fire. Like I said, a lot of times in communities, sometimes fires get out of control because they're left unattended, because they might say, well, the fire is going to stay here, but if the wind comes to play, a fire can spread so quickly, because you have to take in consideration when you're dealing with fire, you need to take in consideration the climate, what is your surroundings, and all of those things there.
The Right Honorable Said Musa suffered a stroke back in 2020. He has not been in the public eye much since. However, on Wednesday night's newscast, we reported that he was present to celebrate his birthday and the launch of the book, No Watch Me, Watch Yourself. Musa appeared in a wheelchair and was in pleasant spirits. He greeted everyone and even blew out the candles on the cake. Following the event, his son Yasser Musa told the media that while the recovery process has been lengthy, his father is doing much better.
In my view, he's doing very well. Obviously, he still wants to walk, but we have to remember that when he first had his stroke, he couldn't talk. He had to relearn how to talk, and he couldn't eat. He had to eat with a tube in his stomach for almost a year. So it's a miracle. I see it like that, because we can still talk to him. He loves to watch tennis and tell you who is who and who is beating who. He loves to watch football every Saturday and Sunday. He's enjoying himself, his life. He still likes to read. He has always been an avid reader. And when he does his therapy, he listens to the music, his playlists. So that to me is the strength of his character, that he is able to harness a situation that has been brought upon him and push as hard as he can, remaining optimistic, remaining positive, and that's to me a very important thing.
Primary schools across Belize that fall under the management of the Anglican Church are embarking on a new literacy initiative. General Manager of Anglican Schools in Belize, Jeremy Caetano, explained that the management noted students were not reading at a satisfactory level and they took steps to help them improve. Caetano spoke on the new initiative and what the feedback has been thus far.
We have created what we refer to as our literacy team. We have a team of experts going from school to school, school to school, and they work with the teachers. We are testing the students. We are pushing to ensure that our students in Anglican management are reading at grade level.
What has been the feedback from the teachers so far on this initiative?
Oh, they are really happy with it. They are thrilled that we actually have folks going into a system where they need the help, and we assist them in. The team actually do demonstrations and all of that. They show them how to plan the lessons, all of that. The teachers are excited that this program exists and they are getting the support that they need.
After the break, Anglican Schools holds annual Spelling Bee. Stay tuned.
20 years. Social Security at your fingertips.
Students and teachers from 16 Anglican primary schools from across the country were eligible to compete at the Anglican Schools Annual Spelling Bee for Standard 3 students, which was held today inside the Belize City Civic Center. General Manager for the Anglican Schools, Jeremy Caetano, shared more on the competition, which she says is a part of their literacy program.
Yes, today is our annual spelling bee. Our management, we have a spelling bee every year, and we do it at the middle division. So we have students of Standard 3 here today from all our schools, and they are going to be competing in this spelling bee.
So all the schools from the country or the district?
All the schools from across Belize. That's why we start at 10, where we're a little bit late this morning because we're waiting for everybody to come in. But all the schools from across the country. Our management right now, we're doing a huge push towards literacy, towards enhancing literacy, towards facilitating literacy. And this is a part of that program. We have 16 schools that are only primary schools, and then we have 2 other schools that are preschool. So we have 18 schools, but 16 schools are involved in the spelling bee. So we give them the words to study in December because this normally comes up February or March. So they have been studying all through the Christmas holidays and through from January until now. The first 3 sets of words, they are words that they have been practicing and so on. So after that, then they are going to get the words that they have not seen. So then we will test whether or not they are able to spell. So then we go into the reserve and then the extra reserve and then the extra reserve.
Do you remember who won last year, or at least which school won last year?
All Saints School won last year. St. Anne's came in second.
So a lot of pressure on them?
I believe so, because All Saints, they have vexed me, but they are very competitive. Most of our schools, all of our schools are very competitive, and so they put in a lot of effort, and so they want to win.
As was expected, All Saints Primary came into the competition well prepped, and once again the school captured the spelling bee title among Anglican schools. This year's winner was Raheem Newman, a Standard 3 student. In second place was Thomas Turner of St. John's Memorial Anglican School in Placencia. And in third place was Allison Quevedo of Holy Cross in San Pedro. Some $20,000 worth of firefighting and water storage equipment was handed over to the Village Council of Mahogany Heights, Belize District, in a ceremony held earlier today. The donation was funded by the UK government and the British High Commission through the Biodiverse Landscapes Fund and through collaborating with the Wildlife Conservation Society. Chairman of Mahogany Heights, Jermaine Sanchez, spoke on how the donation would help the village and how the community came together to give their input.
Fires have been very prevalent in our community. As you know, the dry season is now upon us. We have had instances in the past whereby residents have lost homes, all their belongings, their lifetime saving because of small fires. We know that the ability for the fire department to respond to us quickly, my definition of quickly may mean 10-15 minutes, they're all the way in Belmopan. When there's a small fire, it does not have to necessarily mean a home. We have had forest fires, we have what we call bush fires that has led into larger things, and that in itself gives us a sense of security that we can at least hold over until the real firefighters are here. When the community heard about this, and actually the community was an integral part of this consultation, there were many ideas that came up, such as, for example, providing medicine, for example, doing a cover over the basketball court, because it all related to climate change and climate resilience. And then the light bulb hit, hey, we need something to protect us against fire. The community was very happy. Their input made the difference, as the director of the British High Commission mentioned. The community was all a part of this.
Nicole Awil Gomez, the country director of the Wildlife Conservation Society, spoke on their collaboration with the community and on the process to make the donation happen.
Yeah, so we are really grateful for the opportunity to work closely with the Mahogany Heights community, and that's really because we have built a strong relationship. Our team, some are here, some who aren't, including Dr. Boris Arevalo, Yahaira Urbina, have been working very closely with Mr. Sanchez and Ms. Raquel from the Mahogany Heights Village Council for a few years now, and what we've been doing is really working towards something that can be beneficial for the community, and this is being supported by the UK Biodiverse Landscapes Fund, and the process that took us to get here was really the community developing their own climate smart plan that would be suitable for them here in the village.
You get a lot of calls from this village that like we would have a fire, we don't know if it'll...
Yes, actually, well, our team who responds to fire are the rangers and our manager, our lead, Yahaira Urbina. Yes, whenever there's a fire, there's actually a collaborative group, the Maya Forest Corridor Fire Working Group, that includes the village, that includes WCS, the Zoo, Foundation for Wildlife Conservation, Monkey Bay, the Forest Department, and Belize Maya Forest Trust. We all are in a group that whenever there's a fire, we alert each other. It's a WhatsApp group, and the trained persons, which does not include myself, respond to whoever is in need. So yes, when the village has, if there is a fire, there's indication of the fire, who can attend and help put out the fire, people volunteer and show up.
In other news, Spoken Word 501 is set to host this month's event inside the Turton Library on North Front Street in Belize City, across from Caribbean Sprinter Water Taxi Terminal. The event starts at 6:30 p.m. on Friday night and will last roughly an hour. While there will be light refreshments, the event will also feature a feast for the ears as artists will be expressing themselves in various ways through poetry and prose. Jamuel Soul Chat Rabatu, a spoken words artist and author, shared a bit of what can be expected.
Spoken Word 501 is having its 176th episode at the Turton Library. It's on North Front Street. It will be starting at 6:30 p.m. tomorrow evening. And it's open for anyone who would like to have, their ears tickled, I'd like to say, to hear what the poets have to say on a wide range of topics and subjects. This has been going on from in the early 2000s. The group was formed, and we've been having episodes from around 2012, 2013. You can expect a variety of spoken word artists and poets who will be speaking their truth, who will be presenting what it is that is on their heart, what it is on their mind, what are they going through in life, or what they are envisioning that they would like to see happening in their personal life or in the world or in Belize. You have different styles of writing, different styles of presentation. One of the things that usually keeps me on the edge of my seat is you never know who will show up and what they will bring, but it's always a dynamic and it's always a space of freedom where people can come and express themselves, people can come to be heard, and those who are not sharing can come to listen and sort of find what resonates with them.
We now hear from former Amandala reporter Kyla Gentle, as well as Kayo the Assassin and Afeni Pollard, samples of what can be expected on Friday night.
You are made of melanin flowing through you, coloring your skin.
I see everything we refuse to acknowledge as a society.
From the door of no return to the ships and the barracoons.
So Nell Smiling, a poet and author, will be the host of the event. She said it will be an open mic night and invited everyone to attend and even share. She said that this month's event is special as it falls on World Poetry Day and during Women's Month.
This is an episodic thing. We do it once a month on like a recurring schedule. So for us as like the recurring poets who come in every month, it really just gives us it almost gives us like a deadline, right? Something to work towards. You can always say like I'm writing, but when you don't have a hard deadline on anything, it's like your work in progress is in progress forever. But when you have this a monthly event and you always have this space, like Jamel said, we exist to foster this space for open expression. It gives you something to work towards, to say, all right, I want to have a new poem ready for poetry night, so that when everybody else gets up to share, I have something to share too. We work off of each other. Hey, I really like this, or this is where we can improve. Or so it definitely helps to have this community of like-minded authors and poets that we can bounce ideas off of and that we can meet with once a month. So you can definitely come, show up, listen, read something. It is an open mic night, so we will have space for anybody to come up and read a poem if they'd like. Particularly this month, we are fortunate enough that our poetry night falls on World Poetry Day. So March 21st
Yes.
is celebrated worldwide as World Poetry Day. So the theme that I chose is you. So we're inviting all of our poets to come out with their, as I call it, US poem. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Read a favorite, something that resonates with you, something that speaks to who you are as a person or as a creative. And in addition to that, we're also celebrating Women's Month. So come out with, bring your mom, bring your aunts, bring your sisters. Just come have a fun night with us.
And Atlantic Bank has embarked on a social media campaign to highlight the women of their bank as well as women in other industries during Women's Month. Atlantic Bank's marketing manager, Tanya Tillett, said the company acknowledges the hard work of the women at all their branches, but is also taking the opportunity to feature women in other sectors who have broken barriers. She explained that the bank continues to partner with Haven House and their causes which support women.
What we are doing together with part of highlighting the women in um, our bank, we're doing a social media campaign whereby we're highlighting them, and we're also highlighting other women in other industries, right? So we do take pride in the different women in leadership in our company, and the amount of females that we have really just working overall in the bank. But we also recognize that there are other industries in where women have made leaps. They've broken barriers. So if you take a look maybe at our LinkedIn page or our website, you'll find where we highlight these women that have impacted, made changes, that are leading the way for other women, and they share great stories. So I'd encourage everyone to look for it, check out our LinkedIn page and read these stories. They're very inspiring stories. So we're highlighting the women from some are from our bank and some are from um, other industries. And then we also partner with Haven House. That's something we do every year. So we support their causes in supporting women as well. So that's something we did recently. I think they had an event, I think it was last weekend. So that's something we do every year, you know. And Haven House really, it's an ongoing thing. It's not just a one-time thing, but whatever they have during the year, any activity or any initiative, we're always there to support.
And with that, we have come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on the station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another news broadcast. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.